Just watched episode 8 of Bungou Stray Dogs. Recently read an article, learning that all the characters in this anime are actually modeled after famous Japanese writers, which explains things like why Dazai has the characterized with constant suicides and why each person has the ability that they do. For example, Atsushi is inspired by an author that wrote a story about a human waking up as a tiger, much like the Kafka story where Gregor Samsa wakes up as a cockroach one day. The article rounded off the ideas so nicely, since all of these authors died so young, in their 30s. This anime is like giving these authors a second life, despite a rather different one. But, back to this episode. It begins with Dazai being kidnapped, but literally no one cares because they all think he went out to commit some form of suicide. It's the boy who cried wolf effect, I think. Yosano takes Atsushi shopping, and her character is unveiled to us as an audience. Yosano is inspired by a female author who first introduced sexual concepts into her poetry, important for establishing equality, and we see that in some of her lines in this episode, when she defeats the bomber dude. Previous episodes hinted at how terrible Yosano's ability is, even though she does heal people, but we finally figure out what it is on the train scene. She can only heal people who are on the brink of death, so if injuries aren't severe enough, she has to send them into half-death to bring them back to life. That's only kind of scary. On the other hand, we meet a small girl who is part of Port Mafia, and who is probably my new favorite character. Her lines are perfect. My name is Kyoka, I like bunnies and tofu, and I've killed 35 people. Juxtaposition between cuteness and murderous intent is always interesting in characters, because it shows a depth that's not biased to one extreme only. Most importantly, she ends up expressing that she doesn't want to kill anymore and save Dazai, who, in turn, saves her. Is this the beginning of a ship? Is this my first Bungou Stray Dogs ship? It just might be. The preview for the next episode shows Dazai taking her out on a date, which is so cute and adorable. I am so looking forward to this. In the final scene of the episode, we see a brief flash of Akutagawa, and we find out just where Dazai actually went. Kidnapped by Akutagawa. Dazai's smile despite being tied up sent shivers down my back, and I'm seriously curious about when we'll get to learn about Dazai's backstory. That's all. Until next week's episode, have a great one.